Good evening, everyone. We're going to get started real soon. I was hoping to see Satawi on here, but if he's not, we're going to move on without him. Mr. Walter Murphy, how are you, sir?
David, I am doing wonderfully well. I thought you had stepped away for a minute, and everything is really getting better.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. How's Kathleen?
Kathleen is better. That's most of my situation, and the baby is better.
Oh, I didn't know something was wrong, Fred. All right. Is there someone called Soft Twist 50? How are you? I don't know if this person is on or not. I'm not. They've been on since early this afternoon.
Wow.
And so, I was curious to find out who this is. It's new to me. Just be careful. All right.
David, I'm like you. I'm very curious as to who this person is.
Well,
you need to speak up.
I know. Like I said, they've been on this early today.
You might want to pick them off then, David. If you don't know who they are, they're not talking. I wouldn't. You don't know what's going on with these people. If they want to come back, they can come back and announce themselves. I'm not trying to be no hard, but they need to speak up. You don't know who you are.
All right, Mr. Murphy, we live right now too. So
I understand that.
Yeah, I understand.
Right. That's a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. That's a beautiful thing. We want people to be recognized.
Okay, Miss Cheryl Ricks, how are you? Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is David Murphy, your host for the National Black Unity News. And I want to welcome everyone. Normally, we would have Brother Satawi on here with us who does Blog Talk Live for some reason. Hope the brother's all right, that he will show up. Also, we are streaming now on Facebook Live. And we have a very small group of us right now who is currently with us on the Zoom call. But nevertheless, it is said when 2 or 3 are gathered, then, powerful things can happen. But again, we want to welcome everybody who's on our Facebook Live and those who have joined us this evening in our Zoom podcast. And right now we have Dr. Barbara Watkins with us, Ms. Cheryl Ricks, as well as Mr. Walter Dempsey Murphy is with us as well. And I'm quite sure some others will be joining as we go forward. And as always, I'd like to give you the reason for the season, as one would say, why we're here. We're here because we have a program called, a publication called The National Black Unity News. And this publication is circulated nationwide and beyond. It's a solution-oriented information. We also have a variety of individuals that work with this publication. When I say work, I mean participate, not only with their great articles that they write, but also with their financial support. And so we encourage you, those who are listening to us, those who have seen the National Black Unity News, those of you who would like to have it sent to your home or your office, you can reach us at TNBUN 2020 at gmail.com. Again, that's TNBUN 2020 at gmail.com. You can send me an email or you can go directly to our website. That is TNBUN.com. TNBUN.com. And you can subscribe to our publication. Then it's right there. And again, we want to thank everyone for your participation. And our subject tonight is marketing, advertising, promoting, and they're all interchangeable, but it is a serious, serious matter because when it comes to your business, your service, if you want to share information with one another, then you would have to get that either on word of mouth or by other means as well. If you want to reach the mass amount of people, then I strongly suggest that you do some form of promotion and advertisement. And let me say this to you. You know, I've been in this field, media and marketing, for a long time, over 40-something years. And one of my heartbreaks that I had over the years dealing with marketing and advertisement is this. Now, you know, if you don't know, you will know that the National Black Unity News is a publication by us and for us. And we don't put down any group or race of people. What we try to do is uplift our own, equal the playing field. And so I focus on Black melanated people. That's my call, and that's who I serve. And that's not to say anything against anybody else. It's just that we need to support one another because everybody else does it. Not just for that reason, but we need to support and take care of our own. Now, with that being said, I just mentioned to you that I've been publishing for over 40-something years. And back in the day, when I first kind of started out with marketing, as I said, it was a heartbreak to me to see this happen. Now, I live in Baltimore, Maryland. And this was back in, I guess, in the 80s and early 90s. And in Baltimore, we had segments of areas where we had quite a few Black businesses. And then we spread out all over the place. But some of those business owners, man, they took some brick and mortars. They poured so much of their finances into these places. I mean, these places were immaculate. I mean, beautiful setups, displays, and everything. And here I come along, try to offer them some advertisement and some promotion to help them, you know, bring in new customers. They say they got it, you know. And them days, just before we had personal computers, so they would take flyers and put it on their counters and stuff like this. You know, of course, the person would know where you at to come in there and get a flyer. But I was telling them that you have to get these flyers out there, you have to circulate them. And so, but nevertheless, you know, a lot of us, you know, we only know but what we had been taught. So one of the areas that it's obvious to me that even though we wouldn't go into business and service, a lot of us have not fully comprehended the meaning of how advertisement truly works. But unfortunately, getting back in the day, these businesses pour all of their blood, sweat, and tears and their finances into these brick and mortars, made their facility look immaculate, as I said before. And then a year or two later, I would come back to the same business and they're boarded up, they're gone. Somebody else is using their equipment that they took their money to buy for. And one of the main reasons I come to find out, because they did not get the customers that they thought they was going to have. They were depending on friends and family to sustain them, and it just did not work, and it will not work. And so not only when I seen hundreds of them do the same thing over and over again. And that kind of feeds my mission that I was on. Like I said, I'm here to uplift our people. And economics is one of our major things that we have to overcome. And so when I see a business owner, somebody in business, you know, I look at them not just because they're a business person, but I look at them as employers. They can help put food on people's table. If they grow, they can hire more people. And you know, and that's why I see how they can take the whole economy and move it. And so, and it's also said, now this is what they say. They say here in the United States of America that we Black melanated people spend $1.4 trillion annually. Now, I always had a problem with that figure because I always say it was 2 or 3 times more than that. And nobody really wants to tell you what your true worth and your true power is. But in any case, even with that amount, it is equated to the 9th largest country in the world. That's a lot of power. But again, getting back to this marketing, media, it's unfortunate that those reports always said in our Black community that we are the only people in this country that truly do not support one another. I'm talking about financially and business. And therefore, that 1.4 trillion they say that we have goes right back out the door. And they say other ethnic groups circulate their money now, it's up to 15 times. I'm talking about they share $1 go to another person of their persuasion and keeps going around up to 15 times. So that means they not only taking the resources and building their own business, but they sharing the wealth with people who looks like them, who have faith like them, or have some type of similarity like them. And it's high time we start doing the same thing. And so I thought it was extremely important that we had this conversation because come to find out 40 years later, we pretty much doing the same thing. Now I'm gonna tell you this, and this is not to be, hard on anyone, but other people would cross 10 Black businesses just to get to somebody that looks and act like them or similarity to them. And it's nothing personal because I've heard it said now when I was a young guy, about 15, 16-year-old, I heard someone of the Jewish persuasion said that I heard a conversation. He said one thing about us is he told me this. He said, we can't stand one another personally. Sometimes we have some serious issues with one another. But one thing we do understand, that when we support one another business, that is a survival of our people, our future generation, and that's going to assure us, no matter what he does or what he acts like, that means when I support him, I'm supporting all of us. And so, and that's the mindset they have. The Asian people do it, everybody else do it. So, I'm bringing up this conversation tonight because it's of extreme importance. Now, I can say this. The National Black Unity News is a shining example that what could have happened when we support one another. We have over 50-something people who support this publication, and they all look like me. They're all Black melanated people. And not only that, like I said before, not only do they support the publication, and they help circulate it, they write in the publication, they help pay for the printing of the publication and everything else. So it can be done because we actually are doing it. And so, so I had a few people that was supposed to come on here. Maybe they'll make it and maybe they won't, but I do have one faithful person on here that she's into podcasting. See, podcasting is a form of media too. Now, I didn't say this, but I say this quite often. You can take podcasting, newspapers, radio, TV, and any other form of mass marketing when it comes to Black African Americans. If you clump us all together, all of us, it's still less than 1% of the media in this country. I don't know about how the world system works, but in this country, I'm quite sure it's way less than, because we top of the chain when it comes to doing pretty much anything Black melanated people. But in this country, less than 1%. And I hate to tell you the impact on that because pretty much all the resources that we hear about from education, entertainment, media, and everything else is controlled by other people. And they even tell us what to wear, what's in style, who's in and who's out, what's popular and what's not, what we listen to, what we eat, and so that's how much power media is. And before I bring one of our guests on, I'm gonna show you how powerful this thing is. Now, I'm some of you familiar with propaganda. Media, mass media, has caused wars. It has caused rumors of wars. And not only that, I heard, if you ever heard of the thing called subliminal messages, it goes like this. I studied this for some time, and I never knew this had happened, but now that I seen how it worked with this, do you know if you go into a movie theater and they showing you a great film and they're just running through one little clip. I don't know if you ever seen a film strip. They take one little clip of that. And it's so fast that you're pretty much, your eyes don't even catch it. Your eyes can catch it, but your mind don't. And it would flash a thing of popcorn, just like that. And as soon as that one flash, I don't know how many, less than a second then it is. Do you know a lot of the people get up and go to the concession stand and buy popcorn? Just because that thing flashed into your mind and your mind picked up on it. And so that's the power of media. And we also know this other thing that a lot of people do. It's called gossip. And, you can go out here and say something about another person, or somebody could say something about you. And even some of your own inner circle would believe some of the things other people may say about, I heard somebody say about this person. And then next thing you know, and they tell it to you and you close to them. And then next thing you know, it would put some doubt in you. Most people, it would put doubt in their mind. I thought something was wrong with that person, this, that. So can you imagine? I used to tell people this deal. I would never do it. But I could actually take anybody on here right now, and I can put you into National Black Unity News and write an article about you. And I could be lying through through my teeth. And do you know, and if I print it, now you may want to hurt me or do something else to me, but a majority of the people will believe it because they're not going to do research on it. Because if I put it in the paper, they say, that's it. I knew something was wrong with that person, and they will believe it. And so that's the power of media. But that's in the negative sense. But in the positive sense, media can be one powerful tool. And again, the National Black Unity News use this media as a positive tool. We have been blessed. Not only have we blessed each other, but we have blessed people all over the world. And now I'm gonna get started. We have a couple of people on here that I invited on here, and I'm just going to share with you first a few forms of media. And then, of course, I'm David Murphy, and I publish a physical newspaper and an online paper called the National Black Unity News. But there's other forms. We have somebody on there, Miss Cheryl Rich is one of our guests this evening. She does the podcast. I'm going to let her explain a little bit about that. And also, we had Jacinta Walker on here, who is our marketing director. Now, she is a vital type of person in media market. She is like the nuts and bolts when it comes to mass marketing. A lot of us understand that we need to market, we need to do the thing, but sometimes we just don't know how. And sometimes, even if you do know how, you may not have the skills or the expertise to present it in a way that would be attractive enough so that other people will say, hey, I may want to look into this, or I may want to buy that. And without that being said, Miss Jacinta Walker, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, good evening. I'm here. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm glad you make it. I know you here, there, you doing this and you doing that, but we appreciate you that, you taking time out to be with us this evening. And of course, I was told you that we're going to be talking about media and marketing. And I want you to introduce yourself, and I want you to share with some of the people who you are and what you do and why you do it.
Sure, awesome. So for those, I see a lot of the names that I recognize on the podcast tonight. So I do want to say that I have been in connection with the National Black Unity News for 4 or 5 years now. And it's just one of those great experiences with authentic people who really want to help you to succeed. And that is kind of the springboard of what started my journey on entrepreneurship. And I started a company called Life Works. And I always have to spell it LYF as in Frank E and then Works is WURKS as in Sam. And so LifeWorks is a marketing solutions firm, and we just firmly believe that, it takes a lot for small businesses to even make the decision to launch. And then from there, you have to have the know-how in order to get your product out there, say the things, and get in front of the right audience so you can see a measure of success. And once you see a measure of success, you can build on that to begin to scale your business and, really thrive from there. And that's really what we do. We try to take, our marketing campaigns and help you to discover who you are as a business and be able to put that in front of the customer so they understand that you have a product that will solve their problems, meet their needs, solve their pain points. And that's all anyone ever wants. They just want to be able to have a product or a service that solves their problems. And as long as you can put that in front of them, then you've got a potential customer.
Okay. Now, just said I want you to hold on for a moment because we're going to open up the door to some questions and answers. But I want to get cover some things first, and then we're going to come right back to you. And okay, great. Now, Cheryl Ricks, can you unmute yourself?
Hello.
How are you?
I'm well.
Well, Cheryl Ricks is a member also of the National Black Unity News. And, I mentioned podcasts, which we're doing as we speak right now, the podcast. And she decided that she's wanted to do one too. First of all, Ms. Cheryl Ricks, I want you to explain to people why you are doing a podcast. What is the reason for your podcast?
Well, my podcast is called Your Gift Will Make Room for You with Cheryl T. Ricks. And the purpose of the podcast is to highlight how everyday people use their gift, talents, and ability to make a positive impact in the communities they live in, the world at large. And there's a lot of people doing amazing things in everyday life that people may never know their name or know their faces, but the places they travel and the things they do, those people know who they are. And it's all about celebrating people and helping other people recognize that each of us were given gifts, talents, and ability by God Himself to use for the betterment of our world. And so I highlight people who are using their gift, talents, and ability to make a difference in the world. And it helps people that are watching to know, like, wow, I have a gift and I don't use it. I have a gift. How can I use my gift to make a difference like these people are? And I heard one person say it like this: the gift God give us is life, and the gift we give back to God is what we do with the life He's given us. So we all need to use our gift, talents, and ability to glorify our God and to do the thing that we were created to do.
Right, I appreciate that. And see, now you heard just two forms.
You heard your invitation. Next up,
Okay. All right. So you just heard two of our members who deal with media in different forms. Is Brother Vernon on here tonight?
Mother Satawi's on here.
Okay, Brother Satawi, how are you?
I'm going fine, man.
Okay. And I'm glad you made it, sir. But look, Brother Vernon was going to get on. He's a member of the National Black Unity, and he also has a form of media. He has his own TV station, an online TV station. And again, one of the reasons I wanted to have this conversation with everyone tonight, because this is so important, especially those of you who are in business. Do you really realize that, when you market and advertise your business, and unfortunately, a lot of businesses, like I said before, they would do almost 99% of the things to open up a business, start a business, and try to dot the i's and cross it. But one thing they most do not do: set aside a budget for marketing and advertising. And unfortunately, I can use McDonald's, Burger King, anybody else, even though they almost on every corner in every city. They spend millions and billions of dollars annually to advertise and promote their business. Because if they do not, say for if it's McDonald's, if they do not advertise, Burger King and the other burger shop will come up there and overtake their customers. And do you know advertising increases sales? It informs your customers about your products, goods, or services. It introduces you to something if you have a new product, anything like that. So it does so much. And with that being said, even though you may market, advertise, and do a lot of these things, it's so many moving parts to marketing and advertising. Even we have a young lady on here now, Dr. Barbara Watis, who is, I consider, some would say, you know, she's a doctorate of English. I don't know how you pronounce that, but I do know she's a wordsmith. And you can say things and then you cannot say things. You can say things about this, and I can use David Murphy as an example. There's a lot of issues that goes around in this country, and I address them in my article sometimes. And I don't blame an individual or group of people, but I include myself because it's important that you, when you want to say something to somebody, especially if you're in a circle, and somebody you pretty much speaking about is in that circle, then it could be very offensive to someone. But if you include yourself, that means that if I say you did it, then I turn around and say we did it. You know, we can do better, or we should do this and we should do that. And then it makes a world of difference. And people like Dr. Watis, you know, she can take your words, marketing words, and make them so plain and so clear so it goes right to the heart, because sometimes you can confuse a person. And Mr. Walter Murphy will always say, a confused person really does nothing. So you can have the best product in the world, but if people confused about it, they ain't going to buy your products, goods, or services. And so
I help you out with that as well. Once your book is there, and once you have gotten the reviews,
okay, I'm trying. Somebody need to mute yourself. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, I'm going to say now I'm going to open up, you know, a brief conversation with everyone, but I'm going to say this first about advertisement and marketing. Even those who do some forms of advertising and marketing may be misconstrued about how it really works. Now, you don't have to take my word, because I often say this as well. You can go to Harvard, Princeton, any school that teaches marketing and advertising. They will tell you that it almost takes 7 exposures before anybody even buy your products, goods, or services. I don't care who you are, where you come from. That's the rule of thumb that they will teach you this. But unfortunately, a lot of people have a misconception that if you put, say, for instance, the National Black Unity News, you put an ad or you take out a page in the National Black Unity News, and you expect the whole world to turn around for it because you did it one time, you expect to have a windfall of money coming in, everybody be knocking at your door and things like that. No, it do not work that way. You have to be consistent. You have to stay consistent. If we had stopped, when we started this publication, if we had stopped the 6 or 7 issues of the paper, I'd have stopped it a long time ago if I expected that, because I understood how it works. We stood the test of time. Now people are beginning to recognize, after all this time, we've been around 7 years. And people now beginning to see us all over the world now. But it took those baby steps to get to where we are. And when it comes to your business or service, if you don't, as I said, anytime a multi-billion-dollar like McDonald's and everybody else has to put out all that type of money to stay consistent and try to keep their customer retention that they have with their customers, they have to promote and advertise. That's why they spend billions, and that's why the industry of advertising is a multi-billion, matter of fact, it's a multi-trillion-dollar corporation. And so that's how important it is. And unfortunately, I'm talking to my people now. When it comes to us, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna keep it real. You know, I like to do it this way. A lot of us, you know, we have people like Jacinta on here. I don't see him on here tonight, Wayne Randall. Let me just say this to you. This is gonna be open and honest. And A lot of times, we, even us, we fully don't understand the power of marketing and advertisement, because even myself, I do know that we do something, but there's a lot of things that we have not hit yet. There's a lot of social media out there that, I'm not even fully understanding the TikToks. I'm old school. I deal with the Facebook, the LinkedIn's and Instagrams and things like that, but it's a lot of new stuff out there. And you need to stay on top of your game. And one of the reasons why, and I'm going to say this straight up, because a lot of people think like they have thought. I always tell you there's 200 Black newspapers. And just about every last one of them is on its last leg. And they failed in tremendous, even though they were institutions. Even here in Boston, we had a publication here. I ain't gonna call the name, but everybody knows it. It's been around over 130 years. Did some great and wonderful things, even in my childhood, but I can barely find one today. And if you mention to a young person, they never even heard of it. It's because when technology came in, they failed to upgrade, or they didn't see that it was necessary and the technology was necessary. And now they depended on a few major corporations to sustain them. And one of the reasons that propelled us to our status is because to make us the top circulated newspaper in the nation is because we used the technology. We came in with the technology online. We did mass marketing online. And that's what separated us from them. And see, and that's what I'm constantly looking for, young people who's familiar with social media. That's one of the reasons why we went to Jacinta Walker, because she did so much with our branding and our marketing and gave us a brand new look. And that's why we're doing this thing like the podcast, so we can go direct to people what's going on today. And Jacinta.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, when it comes to you, now I want you to, like I said, I know, we like to be nice and straight up, but I want you to be straight up, because this can be the life or death of someone's business. I'm talking to people on here with us right now, and those who are listening to us on Facebook. Yeah. And from your perspective, because that's what you do, marketing. Will you explain to how important it is to do what you, to hire people like you to either dig into something like you, or at least investigate it, that why people need to have somebody, a marketing agency or somebody into marketing and promotion to sustain their business?
Yeah, sure. So I'm always an advocate, because as you said, the biggest corporations, we know they have the budget to put forth major marketing campaigns, but also even in my corporate days, when things got tight, marketing was the first budget to be kind of axed, right? So you'll always keep your sales department, and then the marketing budget would be cut, because it is such a vital piece of a business. But I think, people look at it like, okay, we can do it in other ways. And so I always pair together sales and marketing. To me, they do go hand in hand. And if you think about it, we are selling every day. I just did a class on how to make your first sales, but it goes hand in hand. And for our businesses, we have to be able to, in layman terms, tell people what it is that we have, why it's good for them, and why they need our product or why they need our services. And what I find that people do, including myself, is we're so, especially as entrepreneurs and business owners who don't have a team, or sometimes don't have people to bounce ideas off of, or even see how it lands. The way you say something, the way you mean to say something may not come off the way that your audience needs to hear it. And that is the importance of marketing. Marketing is essentially your messaging to your ideal audience, which is the second piece of, we are often speaking to the wrong people. We're out there marketing to everyone, and we think, everyone remembers that 10% rule. So if I get 10% of the people that I'm talking to, then I'm good. If I'm talking to 100 people, that'll give me 10 leads. But if you're talking to 100 people that are not your ideal audience, essentially you're talking to nobody. And that is one of the biggest lessons that I think is hard for all of us, especially as entrepreneurs, is that we have to really be laser focused and target the right people. That is like quality over quantity. And that's something that's very hard for a lot of us to kind of pivot to, because you feel like the less people you talk to, the less leads you'll get. Obviously, a lead will lead to a prospect or a prospective client or prospective sale. But it has to be quality over your quantity. And that's where marketing firms like myself come in, because we're able to identify through research, through historical data of your business, of other businesses like your business, who your ideal audience is. And it's different for everybody. So if you have an insurance company, yes, everybody needs, let's say, life insurance, but you want to determine who it is that you want to target specifically. You can't go out there and say, hey, I know you need life insurance because everyone's going to die. That doesn't fall or land right properly on everybody. However, if you reach somebody who is at a certain age bracket and may have, let's say, grandkids, you can put a specific marketing message out to them about how you can leave them a legacy because you have a life insurance policy that will be left to your grandkids, and now they can continue the legacy of the family because they have the funds to do so. That's way more effective than saying, hey, you're going to die soon, so you should probably get life insurance, right? So those are the kind of things that we kind of pinpoint. Again, choosing and figuring out your perfect customer, also figuring out which products that you should go to market with. A lot of us have a lot of products and services that we can go to the market with, but if you inundate your market with everything that you offer, it kind of meshes up the message. They don't exactly know what you're offering. And so when you pair your perfect, I call it perfect because even if you don't land on perfect, at least it's close to something that's viable and then we'll get your results. So when you pair your perfect customer or clientele to your best-selling products, that is a pathway to better success rather than you trying to blanket the entire market and then inundate them with every product that you have. And so those are the two main things that I try to put out. I have actually a 5-point system that I do that I try to, for every client, we go down and we kind of flesh out these things. And honestly, I have my own advisor that does that for me because again, as entrepreneurs, you know, our businesses are our babies and we're very protective over them. And so you know you have really good products. You know you're good at what you do. You know that you can solve your ideal clients' pain points, but to really get laser focused on it, and then have the media and since we're talking about media tonight, have the marketing channels and the platforms, the correct ones or the best ones for you to use to deploy those messages. That's important as well. The way I like to do it is use something that is easy for you to use and that will not, overpower your time, the effort that you have to put in there, and then something that is, easy to employ that you don't get burned out and overwhelmed by it. Until you get that team, those are the things that you want to focus on. But that's why you can also outsource those tasks because, something that's easy for me may not be easy for you, but, we want to focus on return on investment. Can we get the leads in that you are able to close those deals? The key is, for marketing and media, how do we get these leads, close the deals, make the money, and then recycle the whole thing and continue the process?
All right, I appreciate that. and you said something real key. Everything you say was on point, but one of the main thing is, and I try to stress this to some people, is this. You know, I mentioned there's all forms of media. And media, to be straight up about it, that's why a lot of us don't get involved with it because it's extremely expensive. And that's why we purposely design our rates and the way we do things so that it's extremely affordable. I mean, extremely affordable. And we do know the price of marketing there. I know how much the newspapers cost to put ads in it and things like that. I'm very aware of that. But a lot of people are not. And let me just give this example. Now, you can have a budget of $1,000. And I'm just going to use, I'm in Baltimore. There's a paper here that's been around just as long as I've been alive called the Sun paper. And most Black newspapers tried to identify with that paper because it was the largest, I don't know if it is now, but it was the largest publication in Baltimore City. And then we had a few Black papers, then they looked at their price and tried to mimic them in their price rates. And therefore they outpriced the Black community. And so the average Black person couldn't afford to advertise in the Black papers. But another thing happened, a lot of Black businesses, because this publication said my circulation is this and my readership is that and this, that, and this, that. And I'm gonna use me as if I had a paper called The Informer. And my prices weren't even on the charts with theirs. But a lot of people I knew at that time took their money and went to this Sun paper and spent thousands and thousands of dollars in advertising. And they did not get the return on their investment. And the reason why, because they didn't target market. See, this publication went out to Black people. Yes, it went out to some, but majority of their readership was other people. And other people who is not your target market, because like I said before, most of those people that read that publication will not support your business. I don't care how good your products are. But like I said before, a lot of people buy from each other. So I don't care if you had a full page in there and you were shouting out from the rooftops. Those folks, even though they had the demographics and everything else, they will not support your business. So that's money that was not well invested. And they found out real shortly, that it didn't work. And I learned the hard way too.
So he's a scout leader from Columbia, Maryland.
Okay, I don't know. It's a lot of, okay, but in any case, we have again on here Cheryl Ricks with us. And Cheryl, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, I'm here.
Now, Cheryl, we both do podcasting now, and I work with Cheryl on a podcast, and she's doing quite well with it. And not only that, she already got guests lined up for 4 or 5 guests in the next 2 months almost, already lined up. And by me, I'm helping her with the engineering part of it. And man, and some of the conversations she has is so powerful. But I'm gonna say this. That she's beginning to brand herself. See, she's bringing people into her. She don't have to go out and look for people. All she has to do is invite them to her podcast. And that's a powerful way of marketing her products, goods, and services by adding this service to what she does. And it's bringing a whole new clientele and people getting to know who she is and she getting to know people where they are. So it's a win-win situation. And that's why I try to stress upon all of you when we say let's do, we want to do a podcast and have you as a guest, or we want to highlight you, with me and Wayne try to do this and try to do that. See, it's a reason for that. The reason is so that people see in the paper, you can give us so much information. But when we talk to you, it brings out a lot of intricate stuff that we would never have put in the paper. And people get to see who you are. They get to interact with you, the way you talk, the way you sound, and your passion. They can even see your passion, feel your passion. And that's why it's so important to do these podcasts. And if somebody invites you on, I strongly suggest you do that. I had to chase some of you down, and I still haven't caught up with some of you to do a podcast about you, your business, and your service. And so, and I learned the hard way, ladies and gentlemen, that sometimes when the doors open, you need to enter in because this is your business and your service. And so again, Cheryl, since you started this podcast, I just want to know from your own perspective, what was your take on it since you started this thing, as far as business as well as what it done for you personally?
Well, first of all, helping me personally is recognizing how to market myself and how to bring who I am and what I do to the world so that the people who need what I offer can have access to me and know that I exist. Because before the podcast show, some people may see me personally to the places I traveled, but they may not see me beyond that because I can't be everywhere at all times. So having a podcast, it also allowed me to connect with the people I interview network because they're going to tell their network, hey, I'm going to be on this podcast show, check me out. So while they checking them out because they're being interviewed, they also checking me out because I had never heard of this woman named Cheryl T. Oh yeah, she wrote this book, she got several books, And so it's really helping me to sow into other people. I believe if you give, it's going to come back to you. And the people don't have to pay for me to highlight them and to show the world the difference they're making with their gift, talents, and ability. They don't have to pay me a penny. But what they are paying me, they're paying me with sharing their stories, their journeys, and how they're using their gift, talents, and abilities. So the people that connect with me can say, I was listening to your show and, hearing how they're using their gift, talents, and ability, it inspired me to dust my gift, talents, and ability off and start using them as well. The other thing it's done for me is helped me to stretch. Because if it wasn't for you, David, saying, Cheryl, you would be good at this. I had an idea. I like to have one, but I didn't know I could have one. And I didn't know how to do it. But you showed me step by step. You walked with me. You held my hand and you showed me all the things to do. You gave me the instructions. You helped me do it. And now it's a podcast show.
Well, again, like I say, we all have gifts and talent. And you just said the key word, your gifts will make room for you. And I'm going to open up the door, as I said before. But there's another young lady. I'm glad she made it tonight, too. Miss Cheryl Minette. Okay. Yeah, I see you already unmuted. Let me ask you now, you deal with branding, marketing in a different type of way. And this is something that we do every day, ladies and gentlemen, whether you like it or not. When you wake up and people see you when you're around people, yes, they do look at you. Yes, they do size you up. Yes, they do look at you, and the way you talk, the way you act, the way you present yourself. And so, Cheryl
Yes,
Minette, now you have a program. First of all, introduce yourself and let people know what you do with your business and service and why you do it.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Cheryl Minette. I'm based in the U.S. and I'm partnered with the gentleman, Unisa Kamara from the UK. And one of the things I do is we have a brand called Global Speakers Platform. And there's a program as part of that called Beyond the Stage. And with that program, we came together and put together some things that we felt individuals needed for those who wanted to be speakers who may not have access to certain pieces of the quote unquote speaking game. So with that, we package speaker training along with a Spotlight TV interview, Spotlight radio interview, magazine piece. And this is something that we felt would help individuals gain exposure for themselves and their brand, because as an entrepreneur, no matter whether you're a coach, an author, whether you're already a speaker, whatever you're doing out here in this metaverse, in this world that's moving so quickly now on this global stage, whatever you're doing, speaking should be a part of it. whether you become a professional speaker or whether you're just speaking in your business. You know, when you're able to present yourself in such a way that people listen to you and they're like, okay, they sound like they know what they're talking about. And they're able to express themselves in a way that sounds really, you know, professional. They seem to be responsible. That counts and goes a long way. So that is something that we do. And that's the business that, you know, David wants me to share with you all.
Yeah, and the reason why I want you to, you know, share that, because like I say, it's just not one way. It's the only way. It's the complete. It's like I said. That's what they call it, brand. It's all around. You know, even in your personal life. You know, even if it's through a newspaper, even if it's coming on a podcast. If you had somebody like Jacinta, you know, putting all this stuff together, you can have the beautiful package. But if you go in front of people and act like, you know, you just shut all that down the green. Pretty much. And so go ahead, Cheryl.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. And I do many things. I myself, I'm an inspirational speaker, an author, radio host, and I have my own online cooking show, the Cooking Grind Kitchen. But when you're out there and you're presenting yourself, you have a short period of time, a very short window. People make a decision quickly as to whether they want to get to know you, whether they want to even engage with you. And the thing is, sometimes people hear you before they see you. You know, when you're in a venue, you're out somewhere, you're at a gathering, a lot of times people will hear you before they even see you, you know, because just think of how many times you heard someone and you turned to put the face with the voice. But before you even saw the face, you were starting to form an opinion. That's just how we are, okay? That's just human nature. And I think speech is very important. Because I'm a writer, I believe in the power of words. I believe in the power of one's voice, whether it's written, whether it's orally communicated. It's very, very powerful. And it can make you or break you in many instances. So, you know, having this newspaper, the National Black Unity News, it's a form of expression. It's a way to articulate yourself in the written form. And you're going to reach a certain audience. When you're speaking, you're reaching a different audience, right? When I'm on the radio, it's a different audience than being on the TV, than being on a live stage, than being on a platform like this, which is a virtual stage. But how do you prepare for all of them? And that's why with the program Beyond the Stage, it's more than just stepping onto a stage and picking up the mic. A lot of people say, oh my gosh, I want to be on the stage. I want to grab that mic. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to kill it. And they kill it all right. They actually kill the audience. The audience doesn't want to hear anymore. You know, you really have to prepare and you really have to know your audience to be able to tap into who they are, their emotions, so that they can go with you on the experience that you're sharing with them. Because you can turn them on and you can turn them off, just like a relationship, because that's what it is. You're forming a relationship, right?
All right, thank you so much. Mr. Walter Murphy, I know you didn't expect me to call on you. Mr. Murphy.
I am here.
You remember back in the day when you and I, Mr. Murphy and I, we had joined many what they would call network marketing programs. And most of them would show you these 4 different boxes. Do you remember what they were, about what people will buy, you know, what people look at?
You talking about as far as the how to make money?
Yeah, they would say some people are visual, some people
you're talking about the different animals. Let me put my brain back on. I remember that there was a sturgeon who wanted information. That was their main thing in life, was to provide information, and that's what they went to these places for. There was another one for the The Whale. And they liked, if I'm not mistaken, they were $2.99 a month. Kathleen trying to help me over there. I can see her pulling up.
There's one that's the shark.
Yeah, I was going to get to that, but I'm going to save that one for the last because everybody kind of knows what the shark is, okay? But the deal is that there was a whale, a dolphin, and the dolphin is like, the dolphin likes fun, the sturgeon likes information, the whale likes people, and the shark likes money. And so that's pretty much what that is. And for those individuals who do not know, my name is Walt Eugene Dempsey Murphy, and I am the Managing Director of the National Black Unity News. And one of the things that we do here is that we provide solution-oriented material to everyone. And this is, excuse me, this is a quarterly published, high-quality, solution-oriented periodical designed to serve the Black melanated African-American community. The reason that I bring that up is because as everyone was talking about all the things they do, this is one of the hubs of our existence when you talk about trying to get our products and services to the market. This is just one of many. But the deal is that we are the true, honest deal when it comes down to our mission. And our mission is to serve us. As David was saying earlier, our mission is to absolutely provide information and services to us. Now, before I get off, just one more thing, and David, I appreciate you letting me in because I'm gonna get in and get out and I'm not coming back, okay? The idea of advertising is something that everyone does. I don't care who you are, I don't care how much money you make or how much money you don't make. Everybody will invite you or solicit or mention a restaurant or a movie or a piece of music or the type of shoe or you name it. And if they like it, they will try to sell it to you even though they don't make a penny off of it. And so I just wanted to put that out there because marketing, sales is prolific and it happens all of the time with everyone. The deal is that there is a science behind it. This is one of the reasons why I, on a personal note, appreciate what we call Jay Walker herself, Jacinta Walker, on a personal note. You know, because she does exactly what most people don't understand is that she is a true professional. And it's just like many of us, we can walk, but most of us are not professional walkers. There's a thing called a professional walker. We're not that. And that's what Jay is. And so I want to let y'all guys know that at the end of this specific conversation I'm having with you, that Jay and David and Cheryl, both Cheryls, these guys come from a place that most Black people really are truly appreciative of. And that's from the heart. Back to you, David.
Yeah, I was trying to mute this phone while I was ringing, but in any case, I appreciate that, Mr. Murphy. And so if anybody, excuse me for 1 second, I'm gonna put a stop to this right now. I usually do this from the start. And see, now if I was in business right now, see, that would have been a turn off. But and that's why I say it takes preparation. But in any case, I'm open to anybody has a suggestion or maybe a comment for both of the Cheryl Rick and Cheryl Manette, Walter Murphy who has spoken, and Jacinta Walker. Because, you know, you have a business, you have a service. Everybody on here that I see on here, but I don't know about the people on Facebook Live and they're listening, but everybody has a business. And the important thing is because we need to, you know, it's good to go out into the world, but we need to share with one another because that's what we're here for. You know, we have this thing, it's a team concept. And sometimes we look all over the world and sometimes it's right in your own backyard. And we always say we have everything we need. And we have people that can help you say it the correct way. We have people like Dr. Barbara Wright Keys can write it out for you in correction. We have Jacinta Walker who can help you do that. We got Cheryl Rich to help you with podcasting. And we have so many people who have all of these parts of the puzzles so that each and every one of us, so won't be any excuse at all why we should not succeed. or succeed even, to get to that destination where we want to go. So anybody want, you can open up now, unmute yourself. If you have a question, raise your hand or just a concern. Okay, everybody.
I just believe that none of us grow in a vacuum. We grow together. Iron surely does sharpen iron. And when we recognize that having a village, having a community is how all of us thrive, how all of us grow, how all of us get what we need and provide what one another need. And so when we realize it's all in the house, don't be afraid to reach out. Even if you can't reach out like this, inbox. Like every time I get on a Zoom call on a Tuesday or Monday, it's always somebody on there that I want to connect with. So I do it. I send a chat. In the chat, I send a message. And so it's important to reach out. When your baby start leaping, when you hear something that's going to help you or something you need, you got to reach out and get that help.
All right, I appreciate that, and you're so right about that. And again, ladies and gentlemen, if we honest, like I said, I can only speak for myself. If it had not been for the team, the family, I wouldn't be able to do what I do today. We wouldn't be able to reach the heights that we have reached so far. But in any case, this, and one of the major reasons why I wanted to have this discussion tonight is because I told you last week that this publication is at the top of the mountain, and we pushed our way up. We're on the top of the mountain, and we about to go down. A lot of exposure will take place now, and a lot of us going to be elevated in certain areas, and we need to be ready. We need to take advantage of all the tools there, where you need to call Jason Walker. You need to talk to Cheryl Riggs and Cheryl Manette. You need to talk to even David Murphy can help you in some areas. And you need to take advantage of all the opportunity you have. And most of you and all of you have something to bring to the table. Now, when it comes to marketing, do you know each and every one of us, I'm just talking about the people that I'm talking in the Zoom call right now. If we took a little time, at least an hour, just 1 hour out of a week, and you say, I'm going to take this time to devote the National Black Unity News. And of course, if you're in the publication, that means you're taking time out to promote yourself too. And if you just did that, one person on here, then say if all of us did that, took that same practice and did it, do you know how much more powerful this publication, how many places we can go? Everybody on here has their own networks, their own distribution centers. And if you share this publication, with the small group we have on here right now, do you know, let me just put it this way. I met some people on here. I'm just put it this way. 2-3 years ago, my circle was pretty much in Baltimore and the surrounding county. I'm talking about people that I dealt with in business. Now, in a short period of time, my circle has grown so vast and so wide. I'm talking to people. I'm literally talking to people all over the world. All over the world. I'm serious about that. They calling me now. All over the world. And see, I see the evidence and everything because we stood the test of time and all of us played a part in this. But at the same time, individually, there's some things I need to know because I have a business too, not just outside the paper. That's what I do, marketing. I love to do professional commercials. That's why I said if you send me a couple of paragraphs, I'm going to send you some. I'm getting to his paper time, so that paper takes priority over everything else right now. But I will, everybody who sent me those 2 paragraphs, I'm going to do a commercial for you. And the reason I'm doing this for is not because I just love you, yes, I do, but it's marketing to me. Because if you like it and you start sharing it, and of course, if I send it to you when I finish it, I'm having my name on there too. Done by David Murphy. And if you share that with people like that, and then that means that's more business for me. And that means that you will share my work with other people because the commercial is about you. And I do know one thing about marketing. I learned this a long time ago about people in general. and it's just true. Like Cheryl said, you know, whether you like it or not, you are your best customer. You know, if somebody come up to you and they say, I want to highlight you, I want to talk about you, I want to put you on a pedestal, every last one of your ears will stand up and you be ready because it's about you. And somebody told me a long time ago, and it worked. And he said, every time, you know, I got into a jam, he said, if you instead of selling advertising, you go out there and you sell people, sell them. And it works. And because everybody have an interest, you know, of themselves. And there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, everybody on here, again, like Cheryl said, have gifts and talents, and your gifts will make room for you. And I often, if you ever talk to me, I always tell you, I'm sitting on a gold mine, and so are you. We are wealthy beyond our belief, but we are just not using all the tools that's available to us. Now, you just heard from a few people on here tonight, Jason Walker, Cheryl, both Cheryls, and Walter Murphy. And it's, like I said, it's only a handful of, just imagine with your business or your service or with your products, and you started talking to Jason Walker, and you worked something out with her. You talk to Cheryl and come on Cheryl's podcast and let her interview you. You talk to Cheryl and go through her classes and let her show you how to spruce yourself up. You go to Dr. Wateek's, and when you write something, you put your material out there that she documents and cross them T's for you. And then when you present your products to the world and everything like that, then you come to Dave Murray, let us put it in the national, and then your stuff is all sharped up, spruced up, your advertising with that. You know, let me just put it this way. A lot of the ads in the paper I've done myself, and I'm not a graphic artist. So you need to go to somebody who's a professional. This is your advertisement. This is your stuff, because that's what Cheryl was saying. They're gonna see that and gonna look at you. That's not my, I'll do it for you because, you know, but that's not my area of expertise. But you need somebody, this is your business and your service. You need to, you know, all of that stuff need to be taken care of. And so with that being said, anybody before we depart this evening, Cheryl Ricks, then I'm coming to Jason Walker and Cheryl Manette. And then just say y'all just some parting words before we shut it down. I'm gonna start with you, Cheryl Ricks.
Well, don't be afraid of letting God grow you to propel you to the purpose He had for you. And I know it's scary, but God sends people like David and each of us to walk with each other so we can do the thing that He called us to do. None of us have to figure it out on our own. None of us have to do it alone. And so when we recognize that there are people in the room that's doing things that we would like to do or doing things that we need to know how to do, say hello. Just say hello. You never know who's before you or who you're before. So that's all I have to say about that.
Cheryl Manette, to you.
Yes. It's my belief that we are all one global community on this earth, and that we are all placed here to serve each other. We may not know what we are to do, and that's what you find along your life's path. Hopefully you'll find it before your path ends. But we are here to serve each other. You know, we all, as Cheryl said, we have our own gifts and talents, and we're to grow them and utilize them. And your voice is so important. Speak to people around you. That urge you have inside, that yearning to do something, a lot of times that's your purpose. You know, a lot of times we don't think it's enough, but it is enough. It's yours. So don't be afraid of it. Grab hold of it, embrace it, and move forward with it. And when you use your voice to just speak to people in general and talk to people, let people know what you're thinking and what you want to do. You'll be surprised at how many people will connect with you and want to assist you on your journey. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Jacinta Walker.
I guess my last thing is it's good to be on. I don't most of you know, so I relocated at the beginning of the year, and this has been a quite a pivotal year for me as an individual, and then me for my business. And one of the things that the reoccurring thing you keep hearing tonight is just, put yourself out there and be confident in what it is that you do and what you offer. And as long as they're your God-given gifts and he is leading you in that way to serve, then you cannot fail. And you would think I have been here for years. My network has grown, like Mr. Murphy, my network has just grown tremendously in a matter of 4 months. And that only tells me that I'm, living in the way that I'm supposed to and serving in the way that I'm supposed to. And so one of the things that I've been able to do is share the newspaper here and then just connect. And Mr. Dr. Rogers, who had to hop off, he's been one of my connections that I met through Mr. Murphy. And that has been a great connection, not knowing many people in the area and now having someone who's connected to the paper and that also is in my area. So it's very cool to just see how things kind of flesh out once you put yourself out there and just, lead with the spirit. And so the last thing I will say is, me being a marketer, I always love to give just something that you can do to prove it to yourself that what we're talking about tonight works, marketing and media. And so I encourage everybody, whatever it is that you're offering today, whatever it is that you, your special project, whatever it is, if you have some type of platform, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is, or email or a text, just send out a text, an email, or put something on social media today or tomorrow, and just let people know what it is that you do, but more so, take it off of what, your eye, but make it about them and let them know, hey, this is how I serve you. This is how I serve the world. And I just wanted to let you know. And if I can help you or be in a benefit in this way, please let me know. And then just put that out there and see what happens. You'll be surprised on the people that come, I call them the scopers. They always kind of look and see what you're doing, but they never really say anything publicly. They may DM you or, private message you, but just put that out there because you'll be surprised. Somebody may hit you up weeks, months down the line and be like, hey, I remember that post that you put out there, and I actually do need your help. And so I like to prove things that, yes, media and marketing does work. It's vital. It's vital. And we do it every day. So try that out. Let me know how it works.
All right. Thank you. And I thank all of you because, again, I deem myself this, but I call myself a servant of servants. That's my gift. I love serving people that serve people. And it's an honorable gift because it's by divine inspiration. See, when I inspire somebody else, I get inspired. When I help my brother, I get helped. And it's reciprocal. And that's a fact. I learned that. But again, family, we at the top of this mountain. And I told you, this is the last issue of the year. And by any means necessary, do not give up, do not give in. This is just the beginning. And I'm trying to say that to you, the best way I know how. But no matter what you do, everything is a choice in life. You have to make a decision. Even when you don't make a decision, you made a choice. But you come this far. I ain't talking with the paper. You come this far in your life. You done a lot of things, and some good, some bad, some indifferent, but you're still here. You're still serving. That's why you're here on this platform for us right now. And you always had something inside of you that you had birth, but it may not have gotten to where you expected to go. But that's why I believe you're here. That's why I'm here. Is because God put people around us And like I say, I could have never assembled a group like you. Only God done it. And he did this for his reasons and for our reasons. And like everybody on here say, we need to talk to one another, share with one another, support one another. Because if we do that in-house, on the outside, it's a given. If you know, because we have already proven, and I tell this to everybody, anybody hear me talk, I say this. I said, I feel like Martin Luther King. I said, I've been in so many meetings, so many groups, so many different things. But this is the first time in my whole lifetime, my whole 72 years, that I actually see a glimpse of unity. And that's with the people in the National Black Unity News. I shout that all over the world now. And that comes from my heart because it's the truth. I never met a group of people that give so much and care so much. But just like David Murphy, if you like a David Murphy, who always giving and didn't know how to receive. But see, now I'm learning that as well. And so so when you give, you do receive. But sometimes, we looking for everything else all on the outside. Sometimes it's right here inside. Talk to one another. This is vital for you. Now, this ain't I'm gonna do what I have to do, but for you, because a lot of you are sitting on so much. And like I said, I always, there's a thing I share with you, and I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna say this for real. There's a quote. I don't know who said this quote. One of my gifts was picking up the phone and talking to people. Y'all know me when I talk to you. I had this thing. I talked to you in physical form, but I also talk to you in spiritual form. I just found this out about myself. I wonder where them things come from sometimes. So, I can walk by faith and sight at the same time. We dual beings. So I'm human and I'm spiritual. So I talk to you in both frames sometimes. And when I get in the jam, and this always had worked for me. If I pick up the phone and start talking to people, I usually are very successful, very successful. But you know what I won't do? Pick up the phone. Now, how crazy is that? I ran across something recently, and I think in the last year, and it's just a quote. And it says, the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. I'm going to say it again. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. And at the end of that thing, I say, make that call. That's just a personal message to me. Because if I'm going to go anywhere, I'm going to have to start talking to people. I'm going to have to communicate with people. And God has blessed me with so much on the inside that I need to get it on the outside. I have blessed many of y'all, and many of y'all have blessed me. That's why I say it's reciprocal. That's why it's so important that we talk to one another, share with one another. Some of you need each other. I can see it. I ain't going to call you out, though, but I can see this person with that person and this person with that, because y'all have the key to each other. But it's up to you, because you have to do you, I have to do me. But we can do each other, but at the same time, it starts with you, the man in the mirror. With that being said, we'll be on here tomorrow night, 7:30 sharp, hosted by Kathleen Murphy. And I'm going to just say this. Like Cheryl said earlier, every time she comes on there, she meets someone or somebody jumps out at her. And it's often said, you have to show up. And I know we all busy, but if you can, be on this thing tomorrow night. Be on as many calls you not, because what's getting ready to happen is that this world I was telling you about, the people that I'm meeting, they're very interested in us. And I will be inviting them in. And this platform going to start getting large, and we're going to start getting large, and it's going to be, maybe even be difficult to catch up with each other now. But while we still have time, while we still here right now, and tomorrow's not promised to none of us, pick up that phone, talk to one another, share information with, because it's your business, your service. And you'd be surprised that they may have that key, that treasure that you seek, that might be right there. It might be Cheryl Manette, it might be Cheryl Ricks, Jason Walker, Dr. Watis, David Murphy, and so many of us on there. And collectively, you put 4 or 5 of us together with you, right there, them 5 names I just mentioned to you, a phone call away. Collectively, we can do wonders together. All right, with that being said, I'm going to say good night to you all. Yes.
David?
Yes.
This is Kathleen. May I just quickly say that tomorrow night, it would be great if, and I will be sending out the link and announcing our speaker, but we have Dr. Charles Pender coming on tomorrow night, and we want to give him a lot of support. And so we need our callers, our editors and all to just be on tomorrow night's call. That's all. Thank you.
Wow. Well, I'm going to definitely be on it because Dr. Pitt, he's on here now, but this brother, man, I mean,
yeah,
he's so
second that emotion, David. I second that emotion.
He's so full of ideas, and he's not a talker, though. He's a doer. And he's doing it, you know, man. Like I say, he makes me talk. Very few people can do that. All right, so Dr. Charles Pinder will be our guest tomorrow night, and so will you if you show up. Because, like I say, we are a community when we do things like that. I know we you know. But in any case, I'm gonna shut up, get off of here. I'm gonna say good night. I'm hungry, and I thank you all. My phone is jumping off the hook. And see, I'm getting busy. Get me while you can. I'm telling you, it's happening.
Okay.
All right. Good night, everybody. Have a
Thank
blessed
you.
day.
Good night.
Good night. Much love and respect.
God bless everybody.
Good night.
Good night.